Houston Texans fan in the world, obviously, Rex.
Absolutely.
We know you love them and they love you. Saturday, we will have that game. Texans and the Chiefs, 4:30 Eastern on ESPN and ABC and ESPN Plus. Should the Chiefs be concerned about this defense and this quarterback and these Texans that are coming into Kansas City?
Well, it's certainly not a bye week, is it? Oh, my goodness. I think Houston has a chance here, and because I'm not going to ignore what I just saw. I'm not going to ignore it. That pass rush was absolutely ferocious, and it wasn't just against the 5 offensive linemen. They kept shipping. You know, your superstar right tackle for the Chargers that I can't stand is overrated as hell. But anyway, they couldn't block them. They could not block them. And so to me, yes, that's a problem. What's the Achilles heel for Kansas City's offense? Pass protection. This team, and I get it. I know they beat them by 8 points in the regular season in a game. I get it. But they look different. For some reason, something clicked to that football team, and they look different.
That was a Saturday game late in the year where Tank Dell had the terrible injury in that game.
I'm on the other side of you now. I mean, I don't think they have a chance.
Do you think it's a bye? Are they on a bye week?
I'm not doing
Hey, Joe Mixon, you want to smoke a Teddy Bruschi cigar?
They were rushing a statue in Herbert that was sitting there the whole time. This is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. He's going to convert on every 3rd and 3 where you got man coverage and those guys are rushing up the field trying to get Mahomes. He'll get out of there. That's going to be the difference. Herbert had 0 yards rushing. He did not use his legs at all. This is a different beast at quarterback in Kansas City.
Yeah, I lean towards Rex. I do think Kansas City wins the game, but I'll tell you, Derek Stingley and Lassiter and Petrie and Daniil Hunter and Anderson, they can play man coverage on the back end, and those cats on the edge are awesome pass rushers. And don't forget, if they get into an obvious pass rush situation, Teddy, Denico Autry as a pass rusher on the inside as well. I think that Houston, and I agree with Rex, said it perfectly. I can't ignore what I just saw. The way they edge rushed and play man coverage. Now it's the Chargers, and they only had Ladd McConkey, but I think they can put up a fight.
What do you think you would?
I'll say a fight. I'll say a fight. Sure, it'll be a fight. It's just the Chiefs are going to win. The Chiefs are going to win this game.
I'm looking at 7.5 points. I'm looking at Chiefs minus. Are you willing to lay the 7.5?
You're with me.
Teddy is laying the points. Go ahead.
I'll take Kansas City.
Listen, I think the Chiefs will win. I think I agree with Rex. We can't ignore what we saw from the Houston Texans that game. That defensive line totally got after Justin Herbert. On the flip side, though, will they be able to protect C.J. Stroud? That is a problem for the Houston Texans.
No, absolutely, D. Wood. From especially the inside with Chris Jones attacking that interior offensive line. I agree. The other thing is, too, they're not dumb enough to understand that Houston's offense is all inside routes.
Right.
And you're not going to let number 12 bust you inside all day long. That's what he runs.
Right.
Like it looked like the
Nico Collins.
Surprised by Nico Collins. But so I think I give the Kansas City. I'll take them to win the game, but I think it's going to be super close.
Listen, I don't think the Texans have a chance because they don't have Rex to motivate them. I mean, last week they had Rex as the reason that, but send him a game ball.
It's a bye week. Hold up. It's a bye week again.
Download by ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Looking forward to wrapping up Wild Card Weekend tonight, Vikings and Rams on ESPN. But let's do some first impressions on the matchups we know we will have next week in the divisional round. Dan, the battle of the MVP.
For a touchdown, another to Isaiah Likely was great. And then Josh Allen. Josh Allen was absolutely spectacular yesterday versus a very good defense. And the playmaking ability, what guy is going to make that one play that just you're like, no way that you should be as a person allowed to go make that play versus other people and do. Both of them have been absolutely sensational. I'll be fired up to watch that one Sunday night.
These teams met early in the year. Baltimore won going away. It was a dominating performance, Rex. What reason should anyone have to think this could be different?
Well, I mean, it's not going to be different unless Buffalo makes it different. And how are you going to do it? You got to change what you do defensively. You got to get out of playing all those little DBs all over the place, regardless of what their personnel grouping is. That's good in theory. All right. But are you bring in bigger bodies and you got to attack the line of scrimmage?
Do you change things now just to stop the run, which you did in the past? But still, it's like you got to score. Josh Allen's got to score.
And D. Wood, did we see the formula all year long? Like Rex said it great on Saturday on Countdown. He said there's only one coordinator in the league that can stop Derrick Henry, and it's his own offensive coordinator. Well, they didn't. They did it. They ran the ball. They ran the ball with Lamar. They played that physical style we all wanted to see them play last year. Is that the formula for Baltimore against the Bills on Sunday?
That's who Baltimore is. That's who you are. Like that's why last year just drove me crazy in the AFC Championship game. You played a certain style all year long, and then in the biggest game, you go away from it. What the hell are you thinking about? And so now if you're Baltimore, it's like there's no deep good, but they're not. But I would do the same thing. If I'm Baltimore, I'm getting off the bus. And I'm letting you know.
Home field advantage and now the higher seed. I feel like the momentum in every way feels like it's going in Baltimore's direction. What does Josh do? What can Josh do to win this game, which I don't think most people will expect him to do?
Patience would be huge for Josh, which has been the kind of the calling card of his season. That's why he's had his MVP type of season. Is he's been so good decision making wise and not forcing the football. I was actually, just the overall takeaway, Greeny. I was a lot more impressed with Buffalo than I was Baltimore over this past weekend. I thought the Baltimore game was much more about the Steelers team being disgusting tape-wise. But I also think the Bills, in the different ways that they'll get to all their different 4x1s, will create some problems. This is with two backs on the field to start. I know Teddy broke it down before, but this is two running backs flowing to one side. Coop at the bottom of the screen. You get Shakir to work to the middle of the field. This is a defense that he will see versus Baltimore. Josh does a fantastic job of pinning that ball on Khalil Shakir. Now we'll go get to it a different way with it's a Curtis Samuel in a back, and they dealt a tight end and a back flowing through the backside, and then Josh checking the ball down instead of forcing the football down the field. And so the different ways that they get to these diverse formations and the different ways that they will lift coverage to try to create some voice. Now a little bit of emotion, but again, getting to another 4x1, and they can run the football with James Cook. I think both of these teams schematically are going to stress each defense, both in the run game and the pass game. We should be in for a phenomenal football game.
I'm looking at the Ravens -1 on the road in that game next Sunday night. Let me get to some of the other games here. D-Wood, you're up next. We got Rams-Vikings tonight. Which of these teams would be a bigger threat in Philadelphia next week?
I'm going to say Rams because of Matt Stafford. How many teams want to play against Matt Stafford in the postseason? This dude just knows how to win. He knows how to play, and they're healthy. They got Kyron Williams in the backfield, Cooper Nucort. The Rams could present some problems.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Vikings. I think, look, you won 14 games. Really?
That's 5 seed in NFL.
That's 14 games. Yeah. So to me, and then that defense can present problems if you're not ready for that kind of pressure scheme. And then offensively, look, anytime you have Justin Jefferson, you have
Jordan Addison.
Sam Darnold was playing pretty good until Detroit smashed him. I just think that it's going to be. I think they have a chance. I really do. I think Minnesota. You don't just win 14 games by happenstance.
He would. Stafford's great. I mean, they go up against that Eagle front. I mean, it's you got. That pass rush is going to be there. I mean, how can they protect Matt Stafford against a scheme like that? I think it's Minnesota. Minnesota is a team that, I said in the meeting, this is probably the best five seed in the history of the league.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are bad.
It is the best record any wildcard team has ever had. Danny, you're there in Arizona for the game tonight, NFL Live, and all of our coverage, obviously, will be live from Arizona all day for the Vikings and the Rams. How about it? If you're Nick Sirianni watching this game, who are you hoping to get?
I'm hoping to get the Rams because the Rams, Philadelphia played and Saquon had 300 yards against them. So I think that's the big difference. Both are very good football teams. I think when the Rams are hot offensively, they can go beat anybody. The Vikings defense run-wise is sensational. They're a top 5 run defense. And I think if you're asking me what's the best way to try to knock off Philadelphia, you got to handle the run. You got to punch people in the mouth at the line of scrimmage, and you got to try to reset the line of scrimmage. I think Minnesota has shown throughout the season to be capable of that. And then the second thing is to really hurt Minnesota coverage-wise in their pass defense, because their pass defense is gettable. You got to work the middle of the field in your pass game, high-low concepts to throw the ball in between the hashes. Philadelphia doesn't do that. I think that's one of the reasons why they were covered up so much yesterday. And so I think it's the best favorable matchup for one of those teams.
We will pick the game, Vikings and Rams, tonight. A little later this morning, D. Wood will bring out the mallet and we'll smash the helmets. One more question here. Rex Ryan, who is the big...
Welcome to the channel. If you're a diehard NFL fan or just love football, you're in the right place.
Hey there, can you believe how things are shaping up for our Chiefs? Even though they didn't play during the wild card weekend, everything seems to be falling perfectly into place. As the team aims for that legendary three-peat, the way the playoffs kicked off couldn't have been better. The Chiefs are well rested, sitting pretty after a bye week, and the matchups ahead look promising. It's like the universe is rooting for Kansas City. Now, let me ask you, how are you feeling about the Chiefs? Chances this postseason? Confident? Nervous? Let me know in the comments, and while you're there, vote. Are the Chiefs on track to dominate, or do you see any big obstacles ahead? Stay with me, because next, we'll dive into their upcoming game against the Texans, an opponent we know well. Alright, let's talk about Saturday's game against the Texans. You and I both know the Chiefs have faced tougher opponents, but hey, this is the playoffs, anything can happen. Remember Week 16, Kansas City handled Houston 27-19, a solid win, sure, but it wasn't exactly a blowout. The Texans are coming off an impressive victory against the Chargers, and their duo of CJ Stroud and Nico Collins is no joke. At a defense that's been stepping up, and it's clear this isn't a team to completely overlook. But let's be real, our Chiefs are the heavy favorites for a reason. So what do you think? How many points do you think Kansas City will win by? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and while you're there, let's have a quick poll. Who do you think will have a bigger game, Mams or Kels? This matchup might feel like a warm-up for the Chiefs, but it's still a playoff game, and every play matters. Stick around because up next, we'll talk about how the rest of the wild card weekend played out and how it all benefits Kansas City. Let's break down the wild card weekend, because while things couldn't have gone better for the Chiefs. First off, the Ravens and Bills are set to clash in what's guaranteed to be a bruising, physical game on Sunday. That's great news for Kansas City, because while they'll be busy recovering from their Saturday matchup, whoever wins at Slugfest will have one less day to prepare for us. And let's not forget, both Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have yet to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. That's got to be on their minds as they head into this weekend. Elsewhere, the Eagles look shaky, and the Lions have a tough road ahead against the Commanders. All of this just makes Kansas City's path to the Super Bowl look even brighter. But let me hear your thoughts if you could pick. Who would you rather see the Chiefs face in the AFC Championship game, the Ravens or the Bills? Drop it in the comments and let's get a debate going. It feels like the stars are aligning for Kansas City, doesn't it? But before we get ahead of ourselves, there's still work to do. Let's talk about what's next on this path to the Super Bowl. Alright, let's talk big picture, the road to the Super Bowl. Right now, the Chiefs have the second best odds to win it all, sitting at plus 350, but if last weekend was any indication, those odds might keep climbing in Kansas City's favor. With home field advantage and a well-rested roster, it feels like everything is lining up perfectly. But as always, there are some question marks. The offensive line, for example, has had its moments of inconsistency this season. Protecting Mams will be crucial, especially against tougher defenses that we might face deeper into the playoffs. That said, the Chiefs have a history of stepping up when it matters most. Just look at their track record. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen haven't been able to get past us in the playoffs. That confidence goes a long way. So here's a fun one for you. If the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl, who do you think will shine the brightest? Mams, Kels, or maybe someone unexpected? Let me know your MVP pick in the comments. We're so close to the ultimate goal, but before we can think about lifting another Lombardi, let's wrap up with some final thoughts about the upcoming game and this incredible journey. So here we are, Chiefs Kingdom on the brink of another incredible postseason run. Everything seems to be falling into place, but it's still up to the team to execute. The game against the Texans is just the beginning, and with every snap, we get one step closer to making history. Now it's your turn. Drop your final score predictions in the comments, and hey, while you're there, let us know, are you confident in this team's chances or do you have concerns? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates. Let's go, Chiefs!